Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. You're just in time for the latest in Kenya and beyond borders, from general news to business to sports. Prime edition begins right now. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and tonight we have a lot in store for you.
Including on Extra Mile, we'll be talking to Archbishop Andreas of the Orthodox Church, and I'm sure there are things you need to know about the Orthodox Church, which are quite interesting, and we'll be getting to know that. And most importantly, again, I think there's a question of, has the church become a fence sitter when it comes to issues of public affairs? And we'll be discussing all these things with Archbishop Andreas.
All right. What I like about that conversation is how it's going to also touch on the role of the church in empowering communities. So it's something you do not want to miss. Do stay with us till the tail end of it and engage us on social media at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag Prime Edition. Let's first get the highlights.
Three more die in Nakuru illicit brew tragedy. Among them a man and his 7 months pregnant wife.
We are simply performing our role as per the law.
The limits that were set were supposed to have been treated as regulations as given under Section 29, and they are definitely null and void.
MPs meet Chebukati, vow to block IEBC from deciding how much candidates can spend in 2022 elections campaign.
Nataka kucaution the public kuingia gari ovyo ovyo, ati wanapewa lift. Let them take care.
And 2 suspected kidnappers of an elderly Muranga man arrested in a botched mission.
Once again, good evening. Anne Wangeshi is our sign language interpreter. Karen Kibet will be joining us later for the latest in the world of sports and in business. Caroline Njenga will also be joining us.
All right, my name is John Jacob Kioria. Let's begin our bulletin news. The Parliament has initiated the process of barring the electoral body IEBC from implementing regulations that limit the funds aspirants can spend in the forthcoming elections.
Now, the National Assembly Delegated Legislation Committee told IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati that it would propose to the House the annulment of the Gazette notice of August 9th that also limits how much a political party can receive and spend for purposes of the 2022 general election.
Kevin Washira was at the heated meeting, and here is his report.
Before the National Assembly Committee on Delegated Legislation, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission was at pains to justify why it gazetted election campaign spending limits before Parliament considered the regulations.
From our end, we don't think we gazetted the limits and procedures, but even then, should regulations then be passed with different parameters, nothing stops the Commission from varying the limits and regazetting.
Whatever thing else is published under Statutory Instruments Act must be approved by Parliament. It's a must. So because we are the only house which make law, and nobody else can make law other than ourselves.
The committee also faulted the IEBC for forwarding the elections campaign financing regulations to Parliament late. According to the law, the IEBC is required to develop rules and regulations and forward the same to Parliament for approval 1 year to the general elections.
He went ahead to spend public money to make publicate gazettements without approval, so that all we would care to know is that IEBC has done its job. The people are not doing anything in Parliament.
And at no time the Commission want to paint Parliament in bad light. And I just want that on record, that we had no such intention. We are simply performing our role as per the law.
The limits that were set were supposed to have been treated as regulations as given under Section 29, and they are definitely null and void. I actually propose that we nullify them.
The nullification of the regulations and the gazetted spending limits by the Delegated Legislation Committee would leave political aspirants and their parties with the liberty to spend any amount in the 2022 campaigns unless Parliament amends the Act. Kevin Washira, Prime Edition.
Now on to some unfortunate news. The death toll from the illicit brew consumption in Bahati, Nakuru County has now risen to 8 after 3 more people died Wednesday. Among them a 36-year-old man and his 7-month pregnant wife.
Nakuru County Health Chief Officer Dr. Daniel Wainaina says 15 people are suspected to have consumed the killer liquor.
A dark cloud hovers over Hodi Hodi area of Bahati, Nakuru County, following the death of 8 people said to have consumed poisoned liquor, a loss that has left the residents in shock. 8 people out of the 15 who are suspected to have consumed the liquor on Sunday evening have died. Among the 3 who died on Wednesday were a couple, a man and his 36-year-old wife who was 7 months pregnant.
Kitu yenye ningetaka kusema hii pombe imalizwe. Juu kitu yenye imemharibu ni pombe. Juu kutoka siku yenye auntie alianza kukunywa hiyo pombe, watoto walianza kuteseka. Kama ingewezekana pombe imalizwe, juu serikali sioni kama inafanya kazi hapa kwetu.
Ili tuseme the time for discussions and conversations is coming to an end. Sasa is time for action. Isn't it? Yes. Mara kutoa warning, hapana. Itafika sasa tuseme, tuvae gumboots, twende kwa watu ambao wanapika hivi. Tupambane nao directly.
Other victims of the tragic drinking spree are still admitted in hospital, with the county government having deployed public health officers to the area to search for those who could not be accounted for. Maili Kumi Sub-County Hospital Medical Superintendent Dr. Kennedy Owino said that the patients were unable to speak when they were taken to the facility, making it difficult to establish the type of alcohol they had consumed.
Very sad story, and let's pick up on another. Members of Parliament have condemned the excessive use or the use of excessive force by the Kenyan police, especially during demonstrations. The lawmakers say the recent incidents involving the death of civilians. I'll take that again. The lawmakers said the recent incidents involving the death of civilians in police custody reflect badly on law enforcers. The legislators are calling for the prosecution of all police officers found to have contravened law enforcement protocols.
The conduct of police officers has been on focus in the past few months, and not for good reason. MP for Mvita Abdul Samad Nasir had sought a statement on police brutality against peaceful demonstrations in Mombasa County and an assurance from the Cabinet Secretary for Interior on the handling of demonstrators by police.
Ask the demonstrators to provide their own security plans during demonstrations. Honorable Speaker, residents wishing to express their solidarity with the Palestinians should be guided by existing laws and regulations.
People of this republic has the right, as enshrined in the Constitution, Article 37, to demonstrate and picket, Mr. Speaker. And the security is supposed to be provided, Mr. Speaker, for those people who are demonstrating.
Nominated MP David Salkok, however, did defend the police, questioning the conduct of demonstrators.
In demonstration, the demonstrators should also know that their rights stop where other people's rights start. You cannot purport to be demonstrating, destroying properties and blocking roads, blocking ambulances that are taking people to hospital, and you also want to be treated with dignity while you are infringing into other people's rights.
The mysterious deaths of 2 brothers in the custody of police in Embu also became a subject of debate in the August House.
Extrajudicial killings in this country must come to an end, and any police officer who was responsible must be taken to court, tried and be chained.
The lawmaker called for an expedited probe into the death and the prosecution of all police officers engaged in extrajudicial actions. Caroline Edition.
Thank you, Caroline, for that report. Now, an update on the COVID-19 situation in the country. Kenya has recorded 1,974 new COVID-19 cases from a sample size of 13,409 tested in the last 24 hours. The latest figures represent a 14.7% positivity rate. 30 new deaths have also been reported, one of them having occurred in the last 24 hours, while the rest are from audits conducted on diverse dates in the months of March, July and August. 653 patients have recovered from the disease, while another 1,813 are still admitted in hospital. Out of the patients in hospital, 138 are in the intensive care unit. Globally, over 202 million infections have been reported, with over 4 million deaths. Let's move on. Police in Murang'a have arrested 2 people suspected of kidnapping an elderly man in Maragua area on Tuesday evening. The victim, Thomas Mwaga, was on his way to the chief's office to report an incident before he was waylaid. The family expressed their relief following the rescue of their father, even as the culprit awaited arraignment in court on Monday.
Thomas Mwaga recalls his fateful Tuesday walk to the police station that took a bitter turn when 2 people in a car disguised their ulterior motive by offering him a lift. Luckily for him, he realized something was amiss in good time, and amidst the shouting and confusion, the car veered off the road and he was rescued by passers-by.
Hali ya kwanza walisimama, walimuigiza kwa bank. Wakimuuliza atoe 50,000 kwa akaunti yake, watamurudishia baadaye wakienda Murang'a.
His family, now relieved, lot expressing their gratitude to their father's close shave and the fact that the kidnappers did not succeed in making their old man withdraw any cash.
Vijana wamekataa kusoma, wengine wamekataa kusikia watu wazee. Hii mambo imekuwa mingi sana, hata tunalala na uoga.
Nataka kucaution the public kuingia gari ovyo ovyo, watu wanapewa lift. Let them take care.
Maragua Sub-County Police Commander Alexander Lusala confirmed the 2 suspects are in police custody and that they will be arraigned in court on Monday underway.
All right, and now Kenyans will go to the polls on August 9, 2022 in one of the most costly elections, both the electoral body and candidates. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, says it will need 40.9 billion shillings to carry out the election. Or candidates will both, we'll take that again, that the candidates will fork as much as 40 million shillings for a senatorial seat, according to a report by the Westminster Foundation of Democracy Limited and the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. The millions of candidates, or the millions the candidates spend in campaigns, may not necessarily guarantee them a victory.
According to the research, one cannot run for any elective post if one does not have millions of shillings, not even for a member of county assembly seat. The choice of party is equally important because of majority of the electorate vote along party lines.
Spending, however, is not enough. The choice of political party also matters. So as we know how our politics is structured in Kenya, those who are able to contest with a dominant party in a particular region have a significant advantage over those who may be contesting with either smaller parties or as independent candidates.
The cost of politics research reveals that the Senate seat is the most expensive of all the parliamentary seats in Kenya. Tom Boya, a governance expert and one of the authors of the research, it cost an average of 35.5 million shillings to contest the Senate seat in 2017. Some senators spent as much as 40 million shillings and won, while others spent close to 50 million shillings but lost.
The fact that because they are campaigning on a county basis, county-wide, this drove up the cost of their campaigns. And so because their costs for transportation, for publicity, and for all these various things had to cover an entire county, whereas in the case of the National Assembly, they only need to concern themselves with a constituency, or in the case of a county assembly, they need only worry about a ward.
The county woman representative seat is not cheap either, as its candidates spent an average of 22.8 million shillings. To be elected as an MP, candidates spent at least 18 million shillings, while campaigns for the member of county assembly were the least expensive, with contenders spending 3.1 million shillings on average, while others spent as much as 8 million and still lost.
While those who lost spent an average of 13.4 million shillings. So again, more than double the cost. In the case of the National Assembly and the County Assembly seats, the figures are a little bit closer. Those who won spent an average of 21.2 million, whereas those who lost spent 14.9 million.
Boya reveals that whereas the more you spend, the higher the chances of winning your party tickets at time holds sway.
It is unfortunate that politics has become transactional. Okay, it is transactional in the sense that money is a very key determinant of electoral success. Is one of the key determinants, and so you keep spending, particularly if you look at the dynamics and the trends. You tend, if you're in a dominant party, you tend to spend more at the primaries level, at the party primaries level, than you do at the general election.
One of the findings of the research was that women spend as much as men, and in many cases more, to get elected, but still with mixed outcomes.
And the fact that perhaps the average voter hasn't come to accept women as national leaders and as parliamentary leaders. So this is actually also one of the recommendations that we have made as a result of this research, which has to do with supporting female candidates, not just not just at the party level, but also in terms of building capacity to be able to conduct electoral processes.
The research further found out that once elected, the legislators used their seats to recoup the cost incurred. The summary of the finding is that politics is largely a pursuit for the wealthy. These costs are more so prohibitive for women and youth, albeit for different reasons. In a bid to foster equality in campaigns for next year's election, IEBC has released campaign financing and spending limits for all elective seats in the country. Enforcement to ensure compliance with these caps in spending is another matter.
So if we cap this, and actually you, even as an individual, as a candidate, that is around, I think maybe your personal contribution should not go beyond 20%. So it means it will help you. You cannot overspend the entire family investment on an electoral process.
It makes it more transparent in terms of where campaign resources are coming from, but importantly, it goes a long way in terms of leveling the playing field and ensuring that politics doesn't simply become a game of money.
Suleiman Yeri, Prime Edition.
Thank you, Yeri, for that report. Seems like politics is not just a game of numbers like that. Numbers in terms of people and numbers in terms of money.
It must always go with that. And actually the reason why, for example, you saw today the Committee on Delegated Legislation throw out the recommendations by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission about spending, because they had reduced the presidential campaigns in 2017 were costing about 5.2 billion, but IEBC was proposing 4.4 billion shillings. And you can be sure the Delegated Legislation Committee was not just throwing out those caps just because of timelines. There's also the interest of monies, because if you don't have monies in this country, political leadership will be a problem.
So it's still about put your money where you're, and on that note, you're going to be taking a very short break. A lot is still coming up after the break.
All right.
I know, for instance, that in certain other aspects where you are right and where we agree with you, certain hotels in this town, in Mombasa, in other places of Kenya, have gone out of their way to cash in on the tourist boom by raising prices of spirits and of soda and everything else, in the hope that because the tourist has landed in Kenya and he has to have a whiskey, after all, if he's a whiskey drinker, he's going to drink whiskey. Therefore, he is forced to pay a price higher than he would pay anywhere else. Now, I say they are cashing in on tourism, and make no mistake about it, they're trying to cash in on tourism. If they were dependent on we locals, they wouldn't behave the way they are behaving. Because I can come and buy my bottle of whiskey from you. I don't have to pay 6 shillings for one tot of whiskey. I'll keep my own whiskey. In fact, I know one friend of mine who goes with his own whiskey into the bar.
Rich forever, yeah, yeah. All the cool biggest style, and the people in irate. Stop on the scene and them say, here Rasta. I stick gold and green and them say, here Rasta. Turn up the radio and turn up the music. Nonchalant.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
I love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the Popos. Huh?
Drama.
Did he assault the Queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports, and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
University of Eastern Africa Baraton will be holding its 39th graduation ceremony virtually, commencing on Thursday 12th to the D-Day on Sunday 15th of August 2021 from 9 a.m. Catch the virtual event live on KBC, Baraton TV and Hope Channel. University of Eastern Africa Baraton, a chartered Seventh-day Adventist Church institution of higher learning.
On Extra Mile tonight, live in studio, Archbishop Andreas Makarios of the Orthodox Church, and he will be telling us much more about the Orthodox Church. First of all, Archbishop, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me this evening.
Yes.
And I will be very happy to tell you all about us and what we are doing.
All right.
And for your information, myself, I have been traveling for the last 40 years.
40 years.
All over Kenya. So I know Kenya better than the Kenyans.
All right.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that in a bit. But first of all, having been born in 1945, tell us about your journey from childhood to when you decide that now you want to serve God.
Okay. Okay, it was my desire, my dream, of course, one day to become somehow active in the life of the church. But you know, as a young man, I was imagining myself a pianist. I was very much
you wanted to play
yes,
the
I
piano.
want to, yes.
Okay.
This was my dream at first. But when I met in my life one holy man of the 20th century, who is very well known today internationally, a Russian priest, monk, he was actually telling me from the very beginning that God has another plan for me in my life. So I was listening to him. Finally, I followed his advice, and I went to study theology in Paris for 5 years. And then from there, again through his advice, I went to the University of Oxford, where I did my PhD. And during all these years, I was meeting the late Archbishop Makarios of Cyprus, who was connected with Kenya. You know very well that he was pioneer and the fighter for the independence in Cyprus, in the same way Kenyatta was fighting for Kenyans for the independence.
You were born in Cyprus yourself?
I was born in Cyprus myself, yes. So the Archbishop was assisting me from time to time, and actually under his scholarship I was able to fulfill all my education in Europe now for 11 years. So in himself, in his mind, he was thinking that I was the right person to come and take over whatever he wanted to do in this country of Kenya.
And we'll talk about your mission in Nairobi and Kenya as well.
Right.
But taking you back, typically growing up in Cyprus as a young man,
Yes.
how was it for you growing in Cyprus at that time? And were you connected to the vision that finally what you wanted, to do, other than being a pianist?
Okay, it is true that my parents, actually, my mother especially, you see, she was very much interested in religion.
Okay.
And I can say that it is through her that I learned more about Christ and about the church. So she was giving me all the necessary directives how to follow religion. And finally, without, of course, knowing that God already planned for me, at the end of my long journey, I can say that this was the plan of God.
All right. Do you come to Nairobi as a priest? First of all, when do you come to Nairobi? And do you come to Nairobi as a priest? Or what?
No. I when the Archbishop decided to send me to come here and do what he did and see what he did in Nairobi, in our area where we are in the Riruta satellite, I was coming to see, because myself I was doubting whether I would like the place or not. I was coming for the first time in Africa.
Yes.
So, but from the first moment when I stepped on the soil of Kenya, I said, I'm not going anywhere. It is here where I'm going to stay forever.
All right.
And here I am.
But you had a mission in Zimbabwe at some point?
I was actually elected later on to be the Archbishop in Zimbabwe and in 6 other countries. Malawi, Zambia, Mozambique, Botswana and Angola. And I stayed there for 3 years. And then I came back to Kenya, and here I am since the year 2001.
Archbishop of Kenya.
Archbishop now, yes.
When I listen to your story, when you're coming to Kenya, you don't have the name Macarius.
No. My name was different before the ordination.
So when
my name was
Macarius?
Andrew, actually.
Your name was Andrew?
Yes.
Okay.
So during my first, let us say, the ordination, when I became a deacon, I was given the name Macarius.
What does Macarius mean?
Okay, it is somebody who is peaceful, dedicated, live in peace, etc.
Yes.
Yes.
Andreas, you say you were Andrew.
Yes.
Now it's Andreas Macarius.
Yes.
Why Andreas?
Okay, it is there because Andreas is my baptismal name. When I was baptized, I was given the name Andreas. Yes.
When I was, looking you up, it was interesting to see the languages you can speak. How many can you speak?
Okay, I can speak a number of languages, it is true. And the reason why we were able to do actually so many translations here in Kenya and Zimbabwe in the different African dialects, it is because I feel that when somebody is learning his own dialect, is able at the end also to keep his culture. It is very important. That is why my mission also here in Kenya is to advise the young generation Kenyans to learn their dialect of their tribe. This is what actually I am preaching. And myself, I am able to celebrate in Kikuyu, in Kinandi, in Masai, in Turkana, in Luo.
You can speak those languages?
I cannot speak, but I'm celebrating fully.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Because I know you can speak Greek, French, Italian, Russian too?
Russian too,
All right.
yes, because I was educated in the Russian Theological School in Paris.
Is there any native language in Kenya that you can speak?
Okay, fluently? Not really.
Not fluently, but just a bit of
I can, yes. When I meet people, I always converse with them anyway in their own. When they say I'm an Nandi, I say chamken, sing.
Okay.
When you are a Kikuyu, I say ne ate aleo, ne kuega muno, etc. So I can.
All right.
Yes.
In 2015 is when the Orthodox Church gets the first native bishop in Kenya. 2015.
Yes.
Why did it take so long for the Orthodox Church to get a
the
native bishop?
first African actually bishop was consecrated in the year 1973.
How about in Kenya?
In Kenya.
In Kenya, the first bishop.
The first bishop, it was in 1973. Yes. And he was actually a hero here in Kenya because he was also among the fighters for the freedom of Kenya during those terrible years of the 1952, you know. And actually he was arrested, the British, they put him in prison, etc. So I can say that George Gaduna is his name.
Ah, George Gaduna.
Yes. He was one of the greatest heroes, I feel, of the Republic of Kenya, because he fought for the independence during the time of the Mau Mau.
Okay.
etc.
Help us understand the Orthodox Church. What is the beard?
Okay, it is part of the tradition.
It's part of the tradition.
Of the tradition, yes. It comes from the ancient times, from the very beginning, actually. When the church was established during the day of Pentecost. And when Jesus invited his disciples to go out and preach, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. So it was the beginning of the missionary work of the church. Of course, ourselves, we believe that we come from that time, the day of Pentecost. It is the day when Orthodoxy was born.
All right.
Yes.
In terms of the humanitarian works the Orthodox Church is doing, you know, other than pastoral duties or preaching the gospel to people in the Republic of Kenya, I'm talking about Kenya specifically.
Yes.
What other humanitarian engagements do you have as the Orthodox Church?
Okay, on my side, I have a passion myself for education. By profession, I am a teacher. So I am teaching. And when I first arrived in that area where we are today, and we have great institutions, educational institutions. We have the Patriarchal Seminary, we have the Kinyanjui PC, Kinyanjui, we have the Teachers College, we have a primary school, etc. So in that area, in those years, I'm talking about 1977, I was told that the area is very poor and they need at least some help in education, but also for the children who were somehow, they were telling me that they were sleeping hungry. So I decided to start a daily program inviting all the children of the area to come and eat something during the afternoon hours. And from there, it is actually the first time that we establish our first primary school, which is rare, of St. Clement's, up to this moment, and we have 300 small children, kindergarten and the rest of the stages of the primary school. And for your information, it is our contribution to the society, to our society, because it is free. They don't pay. We are responsible to give them breakfast and lunch. We give them also uniforms and shoes and medical treatment, etc. So we started from there. But finally, because of my passion, I was able to extend our activities all over Kenya. And we have secondary and primary schools in different areas.
Across the country?
Across the country,
Okay.
yes. We have in Nandi, we have in Vihiga, we have in Nyeri, and in Kiambu, of course, in Nairobi, even in Lodwar.
All right. Very interesting. Your investment as a church in education, which is a key component of empowerment. But let's go back to the church. I was trying to look, the Orthodox Church up, and I'm wondering, these are the what you would call Catholics,
Yes.
Anglicans or so, read from Genesis to Revelation.
Yes.
Does the Orthodox Church use the same Bible as is used by the rest?
Of course, we have, all of us, we have the same Bible.
Okay.
There is no way that we will not. But in our, let us say, orthodoxy, ourselves, we have two sources of revelation.
Okay.
Of course, the Bible is very important, but we have also the decisions of the ecumenical synods, the teachings of the fathers of the church. And we give actually similar value like the Bible. And we are getting a lot of teachings from the writings of the great fathers of the church.
When I listen to you, Orthodox is a mainstream church. When, you know, if you were to put mainstream churches together, your peers in the Anglican Church, for example, we had the first bishop, Anglican Church, from Butere Diocese. Is the Orthodox Church, or does it consider, bringing up women or anointing women to?
I have to be very honest with you. It will not happen.
It will not happen.
It will not happen, and there is no need for any discussion.
It will not happen.
It will not happen. Yes, because ourselves, we are actually following the tradition of the church, of the original church.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about this ritual I see in Russia. For example, I saw Vladimir Putin the other day, dip himself in the icy lake. Is that a ritual that is observed by all Orthodox members, or that happens only in Russia?
No, it is everywhere, actually.
It is everywhere?
Yes, it is the time, I'm sure, when we are blessing the waters. We have a very, during Epiphany, isn't it?
Yes.
And for this reason, we are doing it even here in Kenya. Myself, I have been doing it actually in Lake Victoria. I did it.
You dip yourself in Lake Victoria?
Lake Victoria, Naivasha, and other lakes here in Kenya, even in Turkana. Yes.
All right. As we wind up very quickly, let's talk about the church and leadership in the country. When you compare about people who came ahead of you, you're talking about Bishops Alexander Moge, Archbishop Gitari, Archbishop Dingi Mwananzeki. There are people who had a very strong people who had a very strong stand when it comes to issues of governance. There are people who feel the church has now become a fence sitter when it comes to issues of public affairs, and particularly calling out government in its excesses.
The names which you mentioned, I knew them.
Yeah.
Especially the cardinal. Yes, I knew them very well. You see, the reason why we are fully participating in the life of the people here in Kenya, it is because we believe that the people are with us, isn't it? So we have to give to our people the right directions. And of course, we are giving them what is necessary to be done, for the country to be in peace. Because I remember all the past years, how many problems were when there were quarrels between the different tribes. My mission was to bring the tribes together. And I feel that I did a good work because I was traveling all over Kenya.
Of uniting the warring communities?
All over, yes.
Okay.
I was there. If the Kikuyus or the Nandis, they were having problems, if the Luyas or the Luos, etc., myself, because of my mission, I was everywhere.
His Eminence, let me cut you short just a bit. Because what I'm reaching out to, because there's a serious demarcation between state and church. The state and church. But that line appears to have faded in the recent years. We don't see so much of, a difference between state and church. And particularly when it comes to, the church calling out the excesses of state.
Okay, because as I said before, our role is to bring unity among the people. So our role is to teach our people. Of course, they have their rights. We are not denying. Each and every person is free and he can express himself the way he wants. And ourselves, we are encouraging, our people to stay in peace. Because if we don't, we will see things which are not pleasant in our lives. And killings, which we don't actually approve.
All right. His Eminence, every day is a learning day, and I'm thankful for your presence here and your time. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
I hope we will meet again.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
His
much.
Eminence Andreas Makarios, the Archbishop of the Orthodox Church in Kenya, on Extra Mile tonight. And I'm sure you've learned a few things about the Orthodox Church and most importantly, issues of our state. We're taking a breather. Karo Jenga is up next with business, and later, Karen Kibet with sports.
Mwenzangu Dingu, this is my house.
It's not a big deal.
It is to me.
So
yani wewe uone kitu chochote kizuri kwa mwenzio isipokuwa cha kwako
Wewe unafahamu shida zangu mimi na Sara. Yule mwanamke ameniweza kwa sababu ananitatiza. Sijui nifanye nini yani.
Boss, Maya mpotezo mkufu sasa ndani ndio tumeuchukua.
Dingo! Tafadhali fanya heshima na watu na kwao.
Sikiza, niko na shughuli na yeye leo.
Welcome back, and I hope that you have had a good day. We now focus on matters business. My name is Carol Jenga. Market access challenges and deforestation as well as are some of the impediments of the growth of the coconut industry. This emerged during a public participation forum in Mombasa on the Coconut Industry Development Bill 2021, with speakers calling on legalization of palm wine to boost production of the cash crop.
The Senate Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries was in Mombasa on Wednesday to collect views from coconut stakeholders to inform contents of the Coconut Industry Development Bill 2021. Challenges in getting certified coconut seedlings and market access emerged as key challenges facing the coconut farming, with members of the public calling on the government to fast-track legalization of palm wine.
The perception around the particular drink has clouded the opportunity.
Ukienda sokoni kwa mfano Kongowea unauziwa nazi kwa bei ghali kabisa kwa sababu nyingi zinakwenda Tanzania.
Nazi ziko nyingi, pombe iko nyingi, lakini wanunuzi ndio tunasema hawajafikia wa kutosheleza.
Leaders say the Coconut Industry Development Bill proposes establishment of a parastatal to oversee the value chain, including financing and addressing challenges faced by stakeholders.
The way it is designed in such a way that the board is actually going to be based in the coast region, which means the people of the coast will have the championship opportunity, while other counties across the country that can grow coconut will then continuously join us in this effort.
It is important that we also have a situation where public monies are also directed towards development of a crop and a product from this region.
Kilifi Senator Stuart Madzayo said that despite the coconut crop generating 3.2 billion shillings annually, most farmers are languishing in poverty.
Katika bili hii tunahusisha sana serikali
iweze kujihusisha kwa kina kuona kwamba mti huu ambao ni mnazi una sheria maalumu ambazo zitaweza kudumu na ambazo zitaweza kuleta maendeleo, na ikiwa serikali yenyewe itakuwa katikati ya maendeleo ya mti huu.
Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
Now to matters aviation. Extension of the runway at the Isiolo International Airport is set to commence early next year. The construction of the runway, which is expected to cost 1.2 billion shillings, will be financed through exchequer funding. The Kenya Airports Authority has also said the airport will be fully reopened in January once renovation on the existing runway and a cargo apron is completed.
Operations at the Isiolo International Airport was scaled down last year after the runway developed depressions, posing a threat to landing aircraft. The Kenya Airports Authority embarked on renovating and expanding the 1.4 kilometers runway. The authority says the renovation works will be completed later this year, allowing aircraft to land at the facility. KAA further says a cargo apron that is under construction will help boost cargo volumes at the airport. The cargo shed is expected to benefit Isiolo, Meru, Samburu and Laikipia counties to evacuate cargo to other parts of the region. Isiolo International Airport is part of Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia Transport Corridor. It has a handling capacity of 125,000 passengers a year, with each terminal designed to accommodate more residents and tourists. It sits on an 800-acre piece of land with parking facilities that can accommodate 200 vehicles. The renovation works involve putting up a cargo apron and extending the runway from 1.4 kilometers to 2.5 kilometers to accommodate larger aircraft. The airport is also expected to serve the Ethiopian and South Sudan economies.
CIC Insurance Group has swung back to profitability, recording a pre-tax profit of 337 million shillings during the first 6 months, compared to a loss before tax of 287 million shillings for the same period last year that broke its 13-year profit-making run. The group attributes the profit to adoption of mitigation strategies during the COVID-19 pandemic and growth in top-line investments.
CIC Insurance Group's profit in the review period came on the back of an improving business environment and opening up of the economy as countries at the firm operates in ramped up vaccination efforts, boosting confidence. As such, a CIC Group gross written premium rose 16% to 10.8 billion shillings, driven by the growth in all businesses except South Sudan, where the business was repricing to more profitable business. The listed firm reported that investment income grew 168% to 1.6 billion shillings, helped by gains in equity portfolio and unwinding of forex losses from currency translation of foreign subsidiaries. Insurers have struggled to grow premiums in the COVID-19 pandemic era, including job losses and reduced corporate earnings. But the group indicated that the fee income and reinsurance commission increased 63% to 1.1 billion shillings. In Kenya, the gross written premium was up 16% to 6.8 billion shillings, while the CIC Life Assurance gross written premium grew by 9% to 2.9 billion shillings. The gross written premium by CIC Malawi and CIC Uganda increased by 95% and 50% respectively. However, CIC South Sudan subsidiary saw its gross written premium decline due to business attrition following repricing to more profitable business. Group CEO Patrick Nyaga says a balance sheet reorganization is on course and will aim at optimal utilization of the available resources, including disposal of non-core assets and focusing on the core business for the group. He says the firm will also focus on optimizing investment in digital technology, mainly self-service channels. Alan Auko, Prime Edition.
Story by Alan Auko brings to a close business news for tonight. But don't go too far. Karen Kibet is up next with the sports update. My name is Carol Jenga. Have a good night.
To get Change Your Thinking Skiza tune, dial *811*961#.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial *811*961#. *811*961#.
On your marks, say go.
This week on Surura, we visit Kenya's home of champions. Meet a custodian of Kipsigis culture.
This is a bladder.
Wamune Tugul.
Welcome to Ibertex East Africa.
And tour one of East Africa's textile giants. And yes, that's coming right up on
Zurura, find your adventure.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge jetted back to the country on Wednesday morning after bagging a gold medal in the men's marathon in this year's Tokyo Olympics in Japan. Kipchoge retained the medal for the second time after he emerged victorious back in 2016.
Eliud Kipchoge underlined his credentials as the undisputed king of the marathon, with a totally dominant run to retain his Olympic title on the street of Sapporo on Sunday. The gold medalist arrived in the country on Wednesday, where he received a warm welcome. The world record holder clocked 2 hours, 8 minutes and 38 seconds to win gold, becoming only the third man to win consecutive marathon titles, and his winning margin of 1 minute 20 seconds was the biggest since Frank Schotter's win in the 1972 Munich Games. He was accompanied by Timothy Cheruiyot, who won silver medal in the men's 1500 meters. They thanked Kenyans for their continued support and the encouragement message they sent to them.
I have a huge plan to inspire the youth and to inspire everybody in this world and to inspire Kenyans and to make running the Kenyan lifestyle. I want to actually tell those people, those young people, that to respect the sport, treat the sport as a profession.
Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
Thank you, Daniel, for that report. Moving on, still in athletics, 800-meter Tokyo Olympic silver medalist Ferguson Rotich today received a warm reception in Kericho after he jetted back to the country. Rotich finished second after registering a time of 1 minute 45.23 seconds behind his counterpart Emmanuel Korir, who took gold in a time of 1 minute 45.06 seconds.
Kericho Governor Paul Chepkwony and a section of MCAs led the residents in welcoming back home Ferguson Rotich after he bagged a silver medal in the just concluded Tokyo Olympic Games in Japan.
Nashukuru wote mashabiki ambao walikuwa wanafuatilia kwa TV na kutupea support.
I want to say that no man is limited. Hata South Rift pia tuko na vipawa ya kukimbia. Sasa huyu wametuletea heshima kama jamii ya Kipsigis na jamii ya Kalenjin na jamii ya Kenya mzima.
He lauded Rotich, terming him as a role model to other upcoming athletes in the region.
He's our hero. Na huyu ni mfano ya kwamba kila mtu anaweza. Huyu sasa amefungulia njia watoto wetu wasichana na wavulana pia wapate medali katika mashindano ya kitaifa.
Rotich, on his part, called on the county government as well as the national government to support and motivate athletes who also have potential to bring medals to the country.
Natumai ya kwamba kuna wanariadha wengi ambao wako kule chini ambao hawajiwezi. So ombi langu ni muendelee na hiyo support mpaka ifikie wale wako pale chini ili waweze kuwaboresha siku yao ya sambeleni.
Thank you, Munga, for that report. Moving on, Makueni County Governor Professor Kivutha Kibwana has lauded the Great Africa Cycling Safari initiative, which aims at creating awareness on the need of conserving the environment. Kibwana was speaking after flagging off the East Africa cyclists who traversed through the county on their way to Nairobi. The safari is also aimed at promoting integration of East Africans and Africans in general.
The fourth edition of the Great Africa Cycling Safari entered its 11th day in Makueni County and attracted participants from East African community. This safari, which has attracted participants over 1,000 from different countries, is aimed at creating awareness on the importance of East African integration and peace.
Please, some soil.
Yeah.
You are cycling with a message, and you are bringing the East African community to the grassroots. A country's flag is the pride of everybody, and they carry it wherever they want. So when you take these flags throughout East Africa, you are affirming our countries, and you are affirming that it is possible to be united and to do great things.
The main thing that we want to tell the people is the unity of the East African societies, conserving our environments. Not that whenever you get a plastic or bottle, you throw it anywhere.
Kuendelea kuwa na upendo na kuendeleza amani, kwa sababu amani ndio kila kitu. Kukiwa na amani pia maendeleo yanakuwepo.
The participants are set to cover 6,000 kilometers within 55 days. Reporting for Prime Edition from Makueni County, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Thank you, Moki, for that report. Gor Mahia FC winger Clifton Miheso has been named the inaugural recipient of Betsaf Player of the Month Award. The Player of the Month Award was announced by Betsaf in July 2021 when the betting farm hosted Gor Mahia and FC Leopards to a dinner after their FKF Cup final, which saw Gor Mahia edge out Leopards to continental football next season. Miheso, who has previously turned out for 8 football clubs including FC Leopards, Sofapaka and Thika United, is the first to be awarded the gong that comes with 25,000 cash prize. Gor Mahia FC is currently ranked 9th on the Football Kenya Federation Premier League standings with 41 points. They face Bidco United on Saturday in their next league fixture at Thika Stadium.
Hii ni motivation kwangu going forward, pia ku work more hard na kunjoni achieve more awards. For the remaining games, I think wanajua watajikaza, wanafaa jikaza kwa kila game. Juini Gor Mahia tunafaa tushinde. Now we wish all the best.
And that's all we had for you right here at the KBC Primetime Sports News. From me, Karen Kibet, it's a good night to you. Do have yourself a lovely night. But the broadcast is not yet over, as I do hand you back to Kioria and Serfine.
And this is where we put a cap to it. Thank you so much for watching. Joanne Cherono from Sotik, Ekuron Samuel from Turkana, Enosh Mogire from Mombasa, and also those who are appreciating our guests tonight. Magame Omoke, you're saying live, our Metropolitan Yoronda Macarius of Kenya, Macarius actually of Kenya. And Stephen Mwangi, you say this is an amazing man, referring to the Archbishop.
All right, and I could probably be indoctrinated into the Orthodox Church. I have books from the Archbishop, and trust me, I'm going to read them so that I understand the Orthodox Church and the Orthodox faith in great length. Yeah?
Great.
Good. It's time for us to put a cap on the Prime Edition. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Have yourself a fantastic night. As usual, we do this again on Sunday Express, but tomorrow the business team takes charge.
And my name is Serfine Achieng Ouma. God bless you. Have a good night.
Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event